from next door in the great state of Ohio, former congressman, budget director, current U.S. senator who's doing a great job fighting the good fight down in Washington, D.C., and maybe the next Vice President of the United States of America, ladies and gentlemen, Senator Rob Portman.
I think this county is already painted red, but folks, now our job is to paint the whole Commonwealth red. Are we going to do that this year? Do you agree with me that we cannot afford another 4 years of Barack Obama? Well, I'm going to tell you something. In Washington, you know, the pundits kind of look around the country and they say there are a few states that are going to make the difference, and they kind of list them off, you know, the battleground states, Florida, and Virginia, and Ohio, and a lot of them think, you know, in Pennsylvania, Barack Obama did pretty well last time, and probably Pennsylvania is not going to be in play. I've got a feeling, folks. I've got a feeling you're going to prove it wrong. Am I right? Let's take stock of where we are. The government just told us last week, sadly, our economy is weakening, not strengthening. The numbers for the growth in the second quarter of the year were less than the first quarter, down to 1.5%. That's hardly any growth at all. By the way, it's not enough growth to add any jobs, because you have more people coming in the workforce than you do economic growth. That means actually we're going the wrong way. Unemployment, people say, well, it's 7.3% or 7.4% in Pennsylvania. It's far worse than that. There are more people who are out of work, who've given up looking for work, than ever before. Someone just told me, based on some information from Washington, that in this administration, there are 10 times as many people who have left the workforce, just stopped looking for work, as the number of people who have come into the workforce. Think about that for a minute. 10 times as many people have left the workforce in this administration, discouraged workers, as have come into the workforce. Is that the kind of Commonwealth and the kind of country we want? No. The wagon's getting heavy. Harder and harder to lift that wagon and pull that wagon when you have more and more people who just said, you know what, I'm going to stay out. By the way, I'll tell you also something that's happened in the last 3.5, 4 years. More people have gone on Social Security disability than they have joined the workforce. In fact, the latest numbers I saw, it's nearly twice as many. That's not the America we want. We want people to have the dignity and self-respect that comes with work, don't we? We want to give people the opportunity to take care of themselves and their family. We don't want the government to have to take care of them. That's what's made America great. I got to tell you, I got a lot of stories here next door when I met with these small business owners. Some of them are in the room here today about the regulatory burden. Every single one of them has a story. The government's making it harder, not easier, to create jobs. We need to turn that around, don't we, folks? Let's give small business a break. We talked about EPA, we talked about OSHA, we talked about the regulations that make it harder for a farmer to make ends meet. We talked about the reasons that it's harder here in Lancaster County and harder across our country to create hope and opportunity and the jobs that we need to be able to lift people up, to be able to give them that dignity and self-respect because of the government. Not that the government's helping, but that the regulations make it harder. That's the reality. The unpredictability, the uncertainty in the economy today, the regulations, the higher taxes, the president out there saying he wants to raise them even higher. This is not how we turn things around. Let me tell you why I'm ultimately optimistic. We've been here before. America did go through a Great Depression. We went through a couple great world wars. We've been through tough times as a country. We always come out on top because of the hard work and ingenuity of the American people. We trust the people, folks, not the government, to get us out of this. That's the difference in this election. That's what this campaign's going to be about, and we can do it again.